got a chance to see the new Blumhouse thriller, Drop. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zenka. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. But yeah, we're going to talk about this new Blumhouse film, and I'm going to get a little bit in depth to it. For the most part, I thought it was a pretty decent film, but we'll talk about all the good and the bad. Remember to give me a like, give me a subscribe if you can, and share this movie. Share this movie. Yeah, you can share the movie too, but you can share this video out there. I didn't quite make a movie out of it yet. But also people say that I talk about my books and stuff like that. Yeah, but I don't have the advertising, the YouTube advertising. I don't have that turned on. So instead of doing advertising, I do 30 seconds of pushing my own books. So you can always fast forward. Normally, my little spiel ends by 2 minutes. So you can just always fast forward if you're watching my channel or if you're subscribed. You probably realized that already. But to push my books, I am on Amazon. You can just type my name in, Frank Zenka, and you'll find my 4-novel series, Destiny Aurora, which is also made into a board game and a RPG, as well as a audiobook and a graphic novel. And then I have my fantasy novel, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. My comics are also on there, including Lords of L.A. I also have a Holocaust biography that I've gotten really good accolades for. It's called Escape from Berlin. I'm working on a new book called Battle for the Ruby Slippers. And on top of that, I have a new comic coming out to Kickstarter. I'm working on a movie right now, so it'll be 2 weeks before I even get back to work on it. And that is called Fairy Tales of Terror. So let's jump into it. Yep, we're 2 minutes in, so perfect. Let's talk about Drop. I keep wanting to say Rope. And it's Drop because this is a Hitchcockian film. And what do I mean by that? Hitchcock was known for getting these close-ups and having these characters in these very odd, very traumatic situations, and where he's, adding tension by using the camera and the expressions of the actors, and that's how this is. This mostly takes place in one location. There are other locations, but for the most part, there's one location. And I got a little story about that. So for all your budding writers, producers, and things like that out there. So before I moved out to LA, and as you know, I've produced some stuff. I've worked, obviously, for other productions. I've worked for Showtime. I've worked for Hulu, etc. But as far as my own writing's concerned, I've only had a couple of things produced in my own writing. It's just very hard to get anything produced, especially at this point. But before I moved out to LA, I had written a comic book with a superhero-type character, which I really thought was going to sell. And I was friends with the head of distribution for MGM at the time because we were part of the same children's charity. And he looked at it and he said, "This is your Star Wars. You're a nobody. Write something smaller." So I did. I wrote something smaller. It was an action romantic comedy. Everybody loved this thing. And he said to me, "Smaller." So eventually I wrote a one-location warehouse movie, and it's very, very difficult to keep the attention going where people aren't getting bored, being in one location. And I had one other location at the very end, but it was like nothing. Maybe a few pages at the end. That's it. Everything else was actually in this warehouse. And it ended up getting optioned by Sean Connery's son, Jason, and I didn't know at the time, but he and Daddy didn't get along very well, so he never raised the money for it, so I did get it back, and I've had it read ever since. I've updated it with new technology and stuff like that, but everybody thought it was, still to this day thinks it's good, so eventually I'd like to probably produce that myself if I can raise any kind of money. But that's what's going to happen. If you are writing something that's really big and you think you're just going to go to Hollywood and sell it, probably not. So write something small. But going along those lines with Drop, these actors, so the actors and the director had to carry this movie. It is less than a $10 million movie, and probably a tenth of that went into building the sets. So the storyline is, if you haven't watched the trailer, is about a woman who has, I think the boy's a little bit autistic. There's something wrong with him. But she comes from an abusive previous marriage. She finally decides that she's going to go out on a date with somebody she's met online, has been talking to for a few months. She's finally going to meet this guy face to face, so she knows what he looks like. She goes to this very elegant restaurant, which is what they built. They built it, I think, from the ground up, along with the bathroom and the hostess stand. So there's this they built it on a pretty damn big stage. But you can tell, if you look at the cityscape, you can tell that it's a matte painting with lights behind it that's giving the lights of the city. Because when I worked on the L Word, all of the houses were built. I mean, all of them. And in stages, so including the exterior. And then when you'd walk up the stairway leading to the second level, there was no second level there. You could see it on the outside, but there was nothing. It was just wood. And but anyway, it obviously they can light it easily, and the walls can pull out and all this other stuff, which is what they did here too, because they were able to shoot through the window and stuff like that, even though they were on whatever, the 100th floor or whatever, and they're shooting through the window. And for all I know, the thing was raised so that they were able to do some of the hanging stuff or whatever else. And she was only hanging, this far, but they just built the rest of it in CG. So as far as the L Word's concerned, they were supposed to be looking out into L.A., whatever, palm trees and all that stuff, and it was just all a matte painting. But when you look outside, the same thing with the Mad Men. Mad Men, when I went to the set of Mad Men, the New York sets, it was just this New York skyline, and it was just a matte painting outside. It's not even a painting. It's a painting on a curtain. So it's like a plastic curtain, and you just pull it. And this way, you can revolve it around. You can not use it at all, whatever, And because if you have a night scene, you can pull the night full, or you can pull the day of. And you'll be surprised if you're far away and it's out of focus, it looks fine. But anyway, that's movie magic for you. But that's that. If you're asking how they did the exterior skyline, that's how they did it. And even when we did Star Trek Renegades, the space wasn't even CG. We used the actual Voyager cloth, and it just has like little pinpricks of crystals on it, and they're like reflective. So when you put a light on it, the stars are reflective, even though it's just really on just a black duvetine velvet thing. But getting back to this, she goes to this elegant restaurant, and I'm not going to go into any spoilers, anything that's not, it's just in the trailer. And she gets this drop, which means that someone, and they did this on purpose, because this way she can try to figure out who in the restaurant, because there's all a bunch of red herrings about who in the restaurant's doing this. And so they have to be within 50 feet, and he explains that, the main male character. But yeah, so you're trying to figure out who's doing this. They have somebody in her house that's threatening to kill her child, who's got a babysitter there, which in this case is her sister, and she has to kill him. That's her whole thing, is that they give her a vial, which is all in the trailer. I'm not giving anything away. They're giving her a vial to kill him. You don't know why in the trailer, of course, and I'm not going to give that away. And she's got to figure out a way to either kill him and save her son, or not kill him and still save her son. So a bunch of stuff happens. It's only 90 minutes, and it does not overstay its welcome. The way it's shot is very, very nice. The way that they do the text messages, where she's texting through this thing, and of course she can't let him know. but all the texts are literally on the side. They're huge. I love it where they're not actually showing you the screen. They're just showing you these big, long, in perspective texts, which is making it look like it's larger than life, which I really love that imagery. And then she goes into the bathroom and she sits on the toilet, but not to go to the bathroom, but she's looking at the different pieces of her security cameras throughout the house, and they're all appearing on the walls behind her. Really, really nice imagery there. There are some points where she has to go, she's looking down underneath the table, and the camera is looking up. Really nice stuff there, and it's slightly tilted. So really nice camera angles here. Christopher Landon is, of course, the director. He does a lot of writing, directing, and he actually, I saw a interview with him and Sean Chandler, and he actually admitted that he did a lot of the writing here, even though the script came to him, but it was like they were in the middle of like their first draft, so he came in and started rewriting it pretty much, or he made his notes. He was in his notes right from the beginning. So the writers of this don't have a whole lot. In fact, Jillian Jacobs only has like 3 writing credits, and 2 of them, I forgot the girl's name that's in them, but Truth and Dare, so that's the head of Truth or Dare, and she's also in Fantasy Island. So she doesn't have really big credits here. I don't think those movies did very well. I for one, thought they were kind of silly. I was actually pretty disappointed. But these guys have worked with Blumhouse, so that's why they got the gig. And then on top of that, the other guy, Chris Roach, he does a lot of TV stuff, mostly TV stuff that's reality show and wrestling. But I think he also had something to do with those 2 movies, so apparently they've written together before. And the actors here that this had a ride on, Megan Fahey, she does a great job. She is from White Lotus. So these are all both, see how many low budget, they'll pull TV actors in. And she also came, I want to say Brave and the Bold, Another Life to Live, or whatever. She comes from soap opera. Whatever I was trying to say there is the title of that soap opera. She did 83 episodes of One Life to Live. There you go. I knew it would come to me eventually. And on top of that, the other guy comes from 1923. So the TV show with Harrison Ford. So we have 2 TV actors. And I wasn't as excited for him. He would actually make a really good Indiana Jones as far as I'm concerned, or an Indiana Jones offshoot, which he looks like that in 1923. I wasn't happy with what they gave him to wear in this. I know that he's supposed to be a photographer, but he works for like the mayor. So why is he wearing this open shirt, wife beater with a open shirt, if I'm going on a date with somebody, if I have a button-up shirt on, I'm closing it. There's no way that I'm like have this wife beater on it showing under a button-up shirt. No. So that's the only. I don't understand why the director decided on that wardrobe, because that is a directorial decision. Just FYI, it's not wardrobe only does what the director decides. So I didn't understand that decision. What she was wearing is fine. I was wondering why she didn't wear a dress, but after what they have her do, I totally get it. They put her in pants, and it was understandable. Also, the very beginning, I wish that they put a text of what, the fact that it was a few years, 5 years prior or whatever, because it makes it look, it's a cold open, so it makes it look like this happens after, like it's going back in time after the cold open. It's not. It's actually chronological. So the beginning is her husband is beating her up. It's not it's not her in the house. And I wish that it doesn't affect it. It actually is worse for the film. You of course they tell you later on that this was her husband, but it's like, who is this guy? So at least you know ahead of time. I think it's better that way if you know ahead of time that this thing is backwards in time, because you don't see the kid until later and stuff like that as well. But I thought Megan did an amazing job. He's still good too. There's one scene where they're talking about their past and they're both like getting teary-eyed and stuff like that. Really, really good stuff. These guys, really took it to the nth degree. There's only a handful of people in this thing. So you have the restaurant, which again is beautifully built. It had to be like $1 million build out. And then on top of that, you have her house, which they probably, I don't know if they built that. They probably rented it. I don't think so. Like even the stuff we're shooting in mansions right now in Georgia, and there's nobody in it. They just use it for shooting. That's it. And then they have this street race type of thing, like a car chase type of thing. So we have some parts on the street, and then the rest is in the house, and that's it. That's all there is. There's 3 locations total if you include the street. So really, really good writing here. Of course, you have to suspend, some kind of belief because this is probably, as Sean Chandler said, this is probably not the best plan. There's too many things that could go wrong here. But I guess they figured if it failed, at least they got him in a position where they can take care of it. But they were trying to, of course, blame it on her where they were blameless, so they just weren't going to snipe him. So, because obviously if they sniped him, it's funny. So her name in here is Violet, and the sister's name is Jen, but in real life, the actress who plays the sister's name is Violet. It's pretty funny. And then the guy who plays the Brandon Skellner, it's SKL. Sklenner? Yeah, I think that's how you say it. His name was Henry in this, and the part that he plays, I believe, in one of the other shows, he also played Henry in another show. So, yeah, so you have a lot of interaction of names here. But Christopher Landon, of course, he did Happy Death Day. He did Paranormal Activity after the first one, so the second, third one. So his stuff is good, and he just wrote Hard Eyes, too. So he wrote that one. He didn't direct it. He wrote that one. So, he obviously has a very... He likes to do comedy and horror together, but I got to say that's in the beginning, the one person that plays the waiter, way too much, man, way over the top, annoying. He's supposed to be annoying because he's really annoying them, but then at the end he has one line. He pops his head out of the underneath the table or whatever and says one line. You could have had him pop his head underneath, because we have this very tense moment, and then we have this waiter that pops his head out, and then he says a stupid line. I really could have done that. Could have been cut completely, and it probably would have been better. But this is the little things that he was done. I really liked Hard Eyes too, so he's got that sense of humor. But I totally recommend this film. I think it the pace keeps moving. You care about what happens to her. Oh, that's the other thing. In the bathroom, I thought it was looking down onto the chandelier, but it's actually a piece that's in the center of the bathroom where you could like sit down or whatever. It's like a little couch area, I guess. But it looks like from the top, it looks like a chandelier. Really, really good work there. Because again, I'm like, how did they get it to look to the chandelier? Then some other scenes, I saw that it was a, like a little thing like a centerpiece on the floor. But really, whoever did the designing on those sets, good stuff, man. Really good stuff. All right, well, that's it for me. Recommended. I would say it's probably like a 7.5 out of 10. I'd watch it again for sure. Again, the main dude, he's okay, but she blows him away. She is carrying all this completely. And then, there's an older guy she meets at the bar. I thought he really did a good job too. Stuff like that. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I didn't want to talk, 20 minutes on this film, but I think it's worth talking about because it's real. If you're a filmmaker, if you're a budding filmmaker, if you're a budding writer, then this is definitely worth seeing. If you love thrillers, definitely worth seeing. It won't disappoint you. All right. Thanks again for watching, guys. Remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. Share this video out there. And if you can't subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. You'll be notified about when I do videos daily. I am going on set for the next 2 weeks, so I will probably be dark for a little bit. All right. Thanks for watching, guys, and have an awesome week.